Okay, good evening everyone and welcome to Natecla Scotland's June online forum. For your information, as I said, we are recording this, and if you want to view the session after this evening, it will be on our YouTube channel, which I will share in the chat in a minute. Please choose whether you prefer to keep your camera on or off, either is suitable, and also anonymise your name if you want to. But let's head over to this evening's session, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jerry Fox and Jacqueline Smith, who are both from Glasgow ESOL Forum. And they come to us to share some really interesting and creative ideas about engaging ESOL learners, which I am really excited to hear about. So without further ado, please let me hand over to Jerry. First of all, thank you, Jerry.
Hi everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I'll just give a short introduction to myself, and Jacqueline can do the same, then we'll have a look through the presentation. So my name's Jerry Fox. I've been with the Glasgow ESOL Forum for about 18 months. I've only got a few years ESOL teaching experience. My background was in further education. I used to teach photography at a further education college for many years. And at the moment, my current position in the Glasgow ESOL Forum is digital ESOL coordinator, and that role was created to help support learners when we moved from all in-person classes to online classes. And I'll hand you over to Jacqueline if you want to give a short.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Smith. I'm also with Glasgow ESOL Forum, and I am a sessional tutor. I've been with them since, I think, a similar time as you, Jerry, about like May 21 or something. I'm currently running 2 SQA accredited courses with Glasgow ESOL Forum, and when it's my turn to talk, I can tell you about some of the extra SQA qualifications I've been doing that are very creative. And that's me. Okay, so I'm just going to share the presentation and just let me know if you can see that okay. Can you all see the slides?
Yeah. Perfect.
So today we're really looking at some kind of different activities and approaches that we've been using, kind of apart from our sort of standard ESOL classes that we run in the community or that we run, as part of SQA accredited courses. I won't give you lots of details about our organisation just because of the sort of time factor of tonight. But at the end, I'll share links to our website and give our email addresses so you can contact us if you are looking for a bit more information. But just very briefly, we run a volunteer tutor project. All our classes are within the Glasgow area, and these classes are community-based classes that are run by volunteers. All our volunteers at the moment are CELTA qualified. And we also do other accredited courses, which will be covered a bit by what Jacqueline's going to talk about later. So the kind of aims of tonight's session, I'll just give a brief sort of rationale about why we decided to kind of look at different approaches. Then I'll talk about some of the different classes that we've done, including photography, creative writing. We run a book club, and last summer we had a walking group. And Jacqueline will talk a bit about working with others, which it was kind of linked into our kilt walk 2 years ago, and a bit of a screen printing course we done this year. We'll aim to do about 15 minutes each, and then we're going to have breakout rooms where we can we'll set some questions to set the kind of context for a discussion that we'll have with you, and just if you can share the ideas that you have. I mean, we've done a few things, but you may already have lots of experience doing this kind of thing. And then at the end, we'll have a short Q&A. So just to give you a bit of a background, so sorry, before I show you that, I'll just go back to the previous slide. Just a bit of an overview and rationale. We felt after that first lockdown, our main aim was to get our learners kind of connected and get them devices so they could participate with our classes online. But after that first lockdown, we really started to become concerned about the fact that our learners were quite isolated, quite socially isolated. And although we supported them digitally, which was great because they could stay in contact with their families, they felt that they needed that to feel like they're part of a community. So when things opened up last summer, we decided to run a photography class. I had done a similar thing when I lived in Borneo, and I was doing work for the British Council in quite remote areas in Borneo. And I realised that there was quite a lot of digital exclusion. Some of the schools never had internet. Some of the kids never got access to computers or IT. So in association with a charity in Kuala Lumpur called Voice of the Children, we ran a kind of social media campaign, and we got donations of secondhand small compact digital cameras. And then I ran a short photography course, but the idea behind the course wasn't really to get too involved in the technique or the technical things about photography, just to give the kids a few wee pointers with composition and really kind of hand it over to them. So to empower them just to photograph whatever they wanted. And that included them taking their cameras home into their communities and documenting their kind of lives. And it worked really well. This is a few examples of some of their pictures. We had an exhibition in Kuala Lumpur, and they actually sold quite a few images, and that went towards buying the school a printer and a computer so they could keep doing their photography after the course finished. So with that kind of idea, when we were talking about photography last summer, I thought it'd be great to do something similar where, we weren't supplying cameras to our learners. We were just kind of, if they had a phone, which all of them had some sort of phone, then they could participate in the course. And the course was really, similar to with the kids, it wasn't really all about technique or about the technical stuff about photography. It was just about them expressing their ideas. So it was quite a simple course. I taught them a bit about lighting and composition, but nothing very technical. So the course ran for 6 weeks. 4 of the sessions were online via Zoom. The class, we decided that WhatsApp would be a good communications tool. So we asked the learners for their permission to be part of a WhatsApp group, which they all agreed to. So we kind of used Zoom and WhatsApp to deliver the classes and for them to take pictures and share them during the classes. So 4 classes online. They were 1.5 hours long on a Friday morning. And then we had 2 field trips to break up the kind of online part of it. So the first field trip was to Glasgow Cathedral and the necropolis. I don't know if many of you are sort of live in Glasgow or you're familiar with these areas. And the second field trip was to Kelvingrove Park and Glasgow University. And it was great because for a lot of our learners, they never knew these areas of Glasgow. In terms of the technology, so we used Zoom, WhatsApp. I delivered the lessons via Jamboard. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Jamboard, maybe you all are, but it was just like a slide presentation, but it meant that I could also scribble notes or they could contribute ideas to it live during the class. And I also gave them a link to download GIMP if they wanted to, which is a kind of free photo editing software, which is quite complicated, but I done some wee simple video tutorials of just how to darken their images, lighten their images, crop them. So that was the kind of technology we used. These are just some kind of wee examples of the slides and some of my scribbles with the notes. And when we went on the field trips, I would also give them, some wee tasks to help kind of drive the lesson a wee bit. So there's like a wee photo hunt with some information about the areas that they were photographing. It's not moving to my next slide for some reason, apologies. Oh, yep, there we go. So just a little outline on the kind of ethos of the idea behind the course. So as I said, limited technical input. The course was, one of the reasons we done the course was to give the opportunity to learners to meet other learners and actually break out of their levels. So the photography class was actually open to people from elementary up to intermediate. And that I was worried about doing this it was the first time I had done a course like this. but I tried to make things very visual, very kind of simple, easy to understand. We've done lots of kind of live demonstrations. I showed them lots of examples. And also, because photography is so personal, I tried to get them to kind of be supportive and helpful with each other and encouraging. So it was a lot of motivation. And if we were talking about pictures, we tried to stay away from the negatives and just focus on the positives and like wee points for encouragement. And they took on that ethos. They were really great. So also I tried to encourage them to be self-reflective. So they would take the pictures, and before they showed them the next week, they would sort of think of something they could say about them. I tried to encourage a range of interactions, so it wasn't all just teacher talking time. So they would comment on each other's pictures, ask each other's questions. And this really kind of built up a nice relationship. So by the time we went on the field trips, they weren't nervous about talking to each other. And at the end, to give them a kind of sense of achievement, the first year we had an online exhibition, and they invited their friends and family. All our team came, members of the board came, and they got to share their work and talk about their work. So we've got both links here. If anyone wants us to send you the PowerPoint with the links, we can send you that, or we can copy the links to the websites in the chat. So we've done this both years, but this year we also managed to have an online exhibition. And this ties in now to kind of a bit of the creative writing. So the course this year ran for 6 weeks, and then one of our volunteers, Suki, who has done a great kind of extension of 2 weeks, where she got them to do creative writing to talk about their photography. And that really gave it a kind of emotional impact. So it was brilliant, and the students really, the learners really kind of took to that kind of idea of expressing themselves. So this is a picture from our exhibition. So all their images were printed. They all had a print each, and the ones that wanted to do some writing, they put the writing under the pictures. Diego done an amazing sort of story. The necropolis kind of really made him think about one of his parents had passed. So it kind of talked about that in a really poetic way. It was quite powerful. But some of them just done simple captions depending on their level. I'm going to come out of this for a second. I hope we're okay for time. Excuse me if I'm talking too fast. please forgive me. I'm conscious of the time. I'm going to, if it's okay with you, can I share just a couple-minute video that shows a few examples of their work from the exhibition? Okay, let me just come out of PowerPoint. I just want to make sure the sound shares with you. Oops. Share sound. Okay, can you see the Vimeo link there? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear it. It might be a bit loud. Sometimes sound comes through loud when you share it on Zoom.
Stretch your wings and bathe in the light. The new dawn breaks and the butterfly rise. Such fleeting beauty can last a whole life. I see you are what you are, and I feel you never have to understand your beauty
So that was their pictures. And it was really nice this year to be able to all come together at an actual physical exhibition. It was also been live streamed, but the learner comments were really positive about the whole thing. Let me see if I can go back to my PowerPoint. And it's not hold on, sorry. Yeah, it was just really positive. The learner feedback was really positive. The attendance to the classes were great. You know, all these kind of additional classes that we've done, and I think it was just that kind of feeling of being part of a community that really helped with that. Most of the learners completed the courses, and you know, some of them from last year wanted to join the photography class this year, but unfortunately we were running the exact same materials, so we said to them that we tried to do something combining both the classes in the future. And I think that was the same for the creative writing, the walking group, all the classes, the kind of comments where they would like to do something like this again in the future. And the comments from some of the learners were simultaneously doing ESOL classes, and there was feedback from other tutors saying it really sort of boosted their confidence. They were talking about it in their classes, and it really kind of helped boost their confidence. We've got lots of kind of positive learner comments, but I think Jacqueline has as well. So we can share this PowerPoint with you at the end, but I think in the interest of time, I'll probably finish up there. We're totally happy to take questions and talk about all this. It feels like I'm rattling through a lot here, but oh, sorry, hold on, I missed something. Yes, I should have mentioned with the walking class, I missed that slide. So yeah, the walking class was similar. We went to different, or Fergus and Denisha and Amy, who took them to some of the walking classes, they done things like sort of bingo cards where they would find objects, they had scavenger hunts, they even done a bit of creative writing around certain, so they were learning a bit about the history of Glasgow, different places, but also just kind of having that informal chat with each other. Okay. Sorry, I forgot that slide. Stop there. So you're probably sick of my voice now, so I'll pass you on to Jacqueline, and she can talk you through some of her stuff.
Okay, hello, and let me share my screen with you. So I'm first going to talk to you about an SQA qualification that's called Working with Others, and this is a core skills unit. This is what it focuses on: transferable skills that are so they arrange to carry out an activity or activities together and learn to work with each other so they can do that. Then also throughout the whole process, they are reviewing their cooperative contribution, which I'll show you a little bit later on. So at this particular level, this is National 4. Now, there was language teaching within this, but a lot of other things, which I'd love to show you. So before I kind of get into this, I just want to tell you a little bit about my background and why I'm so excited about ESOL Plus, okay? Because I used to be a vocal coach. I was trained as a singer. My education is within music technology and popular music. And I went to teach in China in 2013. And this was the first blend of language and the arts that I'd seen. And I saw its success and its obvious impact when I see, 40 students who can't speak any English sing lots of songs in English to a big audience. So yeah, to see how that worked for them was quite beautiful. So here's another thing I've been exploring with Glasgow ESOL Forum. So working with others. Now I can tell you about what it is, but I think it's better that you hear it from the students now. So I'm just going to show you a short bit of this video where they explain what is working with others. Okay. Let me just get it to 1 min.
Now, we are going to give you some information about Working with Others course. So, what is it? Working with others means to learn how to work cooperatively with others, to get help, and to help others. As Regis Murai says, part of being a person is to help others.
And don't forget about effective communication. That's mean achieving our goals. And in this course, we learned that we need more than just exchange information. It's about listening and understanding the information, and don't forget clearly explain the messages from others.
Yeah, exactly. And in addition, the working with others course help us to gain leadership skills as well as the ability to work alongside people.
Yeah, and I would like to add these skills, we can use it in our professional life, and we are in our social life. So for me as a nurse, I work within a team all the time, and this course teach me more tips and skills to organize my roles as a nurse, and beside gaining some more social skills to use it in our daily life.
Okay, so I'm going to pause there because what this video is part of is a presentation to Glasgow ESOL Forum's board. What my students did for their Working with Others unit was to arrange the kilt walk and to promote and to raise money for Glasgow ESOL Forum. So part of what they needed to do was to create a presentation plan using a Word document, explore the necessary register of language that would be suitable for that situation. They helped each other to organize their delivery of parts to the board. And then they recorded this video, which was a big thing for them. But everything within it was stuff they hadn't really done in a normal English class, you know? So when I change this video is going to go again, but let me just stop that real quick. A bit. Okay. So how did they advertise? What did they do? Right. Time to get creative. And this is when I get really excited with my students. So we used Canva. Canva was a software they had never used before. And even just accidentally, this was producing language like, what font do we want? How about the layout? PNG files. Do you know what a PNG file is? These students do. It's basically just when there's not a background to an image. So, but all these different things that they were learning, and not just that, all the information that's on this flyer, they had to source. They had to do an internet search because remember, this is all online. They had to do the internet search, find all the information, put it on in this beautiful presentation here. I'm going to show you another small video because they were also responsible for social media posts. Here is one of my students.
Let's help Glasgow ESOL Forum like they help.
Rewind.
Let's help Glasgow ESOL Forum like they help us. Come and join us on the kilt walk on the 26th of September.
I mean, this video is just for me the epitome of what's so beautiful about this. My students, she's having fun, okay? It's great to see. And this is a quote by her. Being the person for the social media videos seemed like a big thing. It was very challenging, but by practicing and encouragement from my classmates and tutor, I was able to feel good about the challenge. I was nervous to perform a video that was online. However, this was my role and I was determined to do a great job. And she did. I think she did a fantastic job. So that went out onto, Instagram, on Twitter to advertise. Come do the kilt walk with us. Let's raise some money so we can keep doing these things. Okay.
Let's help Glasgow.
Every time. And here it is. This is what they helped to arrange. Everyone in the kilt walk, where 21 people were walking to raise money for Glasgow ESOL Forum because of the hard work of these students within this core skills unit. Okay, so that's National 4. I want to just show you a little bit about National 3. Now, they were creating a Google slide presentation about the litter problem in Glasgow because they see it. This is their life. It's their experience. So they chose to do this. And also, Jerry, your photography course was running at the time, and part of their thing was to go out and take photographs of their area to include in the presentation. So thanks for that. Okay, it all comes together. So this is what I was telling you about the constant reviewing, okay? So after every single lesson with me, and this was 2 times a week, they had to review their contribution, others' contribution, what they did well, what do they want to do good next time? And this was a long document that was almost evidence for them, for their confidence, to be like, no, look back at that and see all the things that you did in our time together. I believe it's a 2-month course. So this I found really helpful. I would recommend this in any kind of English language setting, to be honest. It was really, really powerful. Okay. Here's just an example of one of the slides that they made. This is how much do you get fined for fly tipping in different parts of the world. So all these places are where my students are from. And this again was internet research. They had to find these answers themselves. I couldn't help them with that. That was their responsibility. And quite an interesting one here. £2,000 Sudanese pounds, equivalent of a doctor's wage for 1 month for fly tipping. I thought that's a great fact. Let's get it in. So even just the illustration, all of this, they just did so well. Okay, this is, we're always thinking about the students. The students are the first thing. I just want to mention something for teachers as well. This social impact, we were talking about the well-being and mental health of people who live in places where there is litter and fly tipping. And accidentally, we came across the broken window theory. And what it means is that if the area is not looked after, there will be crime and antisocial behavior. Oh, this is a conditional sentence. Next class, we're doing some conditionals. Okay, so it was all so organic how it developed for my teaching. It was keeping me on my toes. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'll teach you that next time. I'll teach you it now. So that was also a really exciting thing about this course. Let me get you on to the next one. I'm going to tell you about screen printing that we did. Now, this is not at all accredited. This is super fun. Just a nice thing for us to do. Me and Jerry did this together. I'm going to tell you about it. So this, similar to some of Jerry's extra things, was open to all levels. It didn't matter your level of English. It was about coming to create art together. The only thing I prepared them with is this vocabulary sheet that I wanted to show you. Now, this wasn't for them to study. It was just there in case they didn't know the vocabulary for something about screen printing. And I tried to kind of aim this towards all the levels, not make it too complicated, but it seemed to be fine with them. Okay, here's some pictures of how fun it was. Thank you, Jerry, for the photography. So what they needed to do was to create tiny little people that they then all put together onto one screen printing document, creating a collaborative art. Jerry, have you got yours? Yay! Yeah, we got to get one too, which was like part of it. But I loved this. I loved that everyone worked together. Some of my students from my accredited courses were here. Jerry, I think some of your students were there. And this, for us, was one of the first times we'd seen them in real life too. So yeah, just a whole room of happiness, in my opinion. Okay. And this is what they thought. They thought, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I love to come today. I'm so happy today. Many thanks. I really enjoyed and happy with my bag. I really enjoyed. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Okay. So it's not much, but for me, I could see it when they were all leaving, how happy it made them. And I believe that helped some of my students who have said, I need to meet people, and they came and it worked. Okay. So that's all I have to say, really. And I want to say thank you so much for listening to me. Cheers. Okay, so now I think, thanks, Jenny. I think we have a task for you now, right, Jerry?
Yeah. Oh, how should it's good to see a familiar face. Yes, we're going to sort of, we've just got a few simple questions that to get you to share the ideas that you have, and maybe the experiences that you've had, but we'll do in breakout rooms. I just thought, I think we've got time. I just thought maybe if you have any questions that are just sort of fresh in your head just now for me and Jacqueline, we will have a kind of Q&A at the end, but if there's any questions before we do this task, then just kind of stick your hand up, and if not, we'll go straight to the task.
Anyone have any questions?
Okay, everyone's been shy, that's fine.
Everyone has been shy.
Okay, so now what we've got, so how many do we have? 1, 2, 3.
I've put them into 2 separate rooms, Jerry.
Great. Can I just get a show of hands, or wee cartoon hands if I can't see you? Have any of you used Jamboard before? Okay, Sheena has. Are there any kind of computer hands with the people whose cameras are off?
I've used it, Jay, but I would like to know more about it. I think I used it because you'd mentioned it, but I'm not sure I'm using it properly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do a wee demo, but don't worry if there are any kind of technical issues and you can't use it. Even just a wee notepad and pen and share some ideas that way is perfectly brilliant. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay. So basically we have just 3 slides. Can you see these? Okay, and I'm going to share the link into the chat. So you should be able to, let me just do that again, actually. Copy link, it's so small, I need new glasses. Okay. You should be able to open this from the Zoom link, and maybe just one person in each group can write some ideas. So I've got it just like a wee kind of bubbles, like a mind map type thing. Can you see my hand here to the right? And it's got a sticky. So I could like, so this first question is, let me cancel that second. This first, what topics, activities or subjects have you adopted with ESOL? So we're thinking about extra things that you may have done in the past. So for example, it could be cooking. So you just type in that sticky and then you can sort of move it into one of the bubbles like that. If it doesn't work for you, don't worry, just write on a bit of paper. So we've got 3 questions. So what have you done? So maybe in the past, because we've done a similar group last year and lots of people had done like Duke of Edinburgh Awards, lots of different things with ESOL learners. We've got like, what are the advantages, disadvantages of using creative activities? So while we were talking, you may have thought of things like kind of barriers that would make this challenging or difficult in your context, or you might have like lots of ideas of advantages. And then finally, what new ideas do you have? So maybe things you haven't done, but after listening to us, is it giving you some ideas? So that's the 3 questions. So what I'll do is I'll also share, let me share the link first. So that's the link, but I'll also share the 3 questions in case you just have to sort of write them on paper. And that's the 3 questions. Sorry, the formatting's a bit out. So because there's like 3 slides and we want you to sort of really have a good chat about this, we'll give you 15 minutes so you can have 5 minutes per slide. If you have loads of ideas and you get finished early, maybe you can have a wee 5-minute break and rest your eyes. So the time now is
25 to.
25 to. So we'll meet back at 10 to, and that will give us 10 minutes just for any wee Q&A at the end.
Great.
How's that sound? Okay.
Yep. I'll send you off into your rooms now. Have fun, everyone.
So we'll see you back in 15 minutes. Are they still there?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Bill's
yeah.
gone.
Bill's away.
Jean, are you able to join the breakout room?
Let's see if I can.
That's a direct message.
Bill's back.
Bill's back.
Bill, are you okay? Did you not go through into the room? Both Bill and Jean are in one room, so at the moment, Kathy's in a room all on her own.
Do you know how to move? Do you know how to move people?
Yeah, I might just move Kathy over to room 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've just moved her over. If maybe Bill and Jean can't get in for whatever reason or unable to. So at the very least, that means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in a room having a chat.
Okay.
I'm actually.
Yeah, I'll share it if you want, Joey, and no problem. I'm excited to find the other.
Oh, welcome back, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you.
Hi. Okay, so I would love to share screen to see what you guys have written, and if you want to talk us through any points that you've made, that would be great as well. There we go.
And if you've got things just written on paper, you can shout them out as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, great. So we have
Hannah's done all this with us. Well, we were talking. She did the.
I've done the typing.
She basically captured.
Nice. Working together, guys.
It was. We should get a certificate for this one.
Okay, so we've got cooking.
Oh, that was
that was my example.
Yeah.
Okay, great example.
Although we have done, although I wasn't involved in it, but we did do in the past. I think the first year Syrians came to Edinburgh, one of my colleagues did a cooking and art summer program where they wrote a cookery book, but I wasn't involved, so I can't take
Fantastic.
any credit.
And then I'll just pop it out there. Has anyone heard of Heart and Parcel?
No.
So they are, I'll go and get the link and I'll pop it in the chat, but they do phenomenal work with recipes, cooking and cookbooks with ESOL learners. They're down south, so I'll go and get that and pop it in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, great. And then, obviously with that, you can imagine, and as ESOL practitioners, that what that opens up in terms of language, just cooking, and not just because let's look at the grammar, but because people get excited about food. It's a fundamental thing that we do and we enjoy. Well, some of us. So that idea of a cookbook, I think, is just fantastic.
And did they publish the cookbook, Hannah, or did they sort of share it?
I can't remember what happened with the cook. I think it was just sort of shared. There was an exhibition of artwork and recipes and things. But it's about 5 years ago. I can't remember what.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on to our next one. We've got a storybook about learners' children with photos. Can anyone tell us a little bit about this? Oh, you're on mute, Kathy. I can see that you're talking, but I think you're on mute.
Not often that I'm quiet.
Okay.
No, this was just something we did with some Syrian refugees, and it was the ladies actually that were very shy and hadn't really had any schooling, so we decided to take them into the creche where their children were, and they took photos of their child and the toys they played with, the snacks they liked, and then they built a very simple book, sort of, this is Ali likes the red bus, Ali likes, or his favorite toy. And the nice thing was that we printed everything and then they could take it home. So they actually sat with their children and read it.
Oh, lovely.
It was just a sneaky way of getting them to use the language at home and bringing in their children and even older children. Because I think sometimes it's hard for the parents to speak English with their children, because they seem to get on so much quicker sometimes.
Yeah, I hear lots of little people with Scottish accents with their parents. It's lovely. That's amazing. Yeah, I'd like that, because obviously people are excited about their own children too. So you're instantly, I'm so engaged in this. I'll tell you all about them. Yeah, absolutely.
And it also worked nicely because when they first came, they were a bit worried about leaving their children in the creche and they weren't quite sort of sure. So it just built a nice warm relationship between the creche staff and the mums and that. So it worked.
Okay,
It was one
great.
of those things that got better. You planned it a bit ropily and then you suddenly thought, this is working.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. So we've also got, so maybe we can't explain all of these ideas, but yearbooks, like that, yearbooks.
Yeah, just we do that with quite a number of the students. So they get, I was just saying, they get quite a lot of skills in that, you know, they sort of like the ICT, the sort of collaboration and gathering the information, and then maybe just sort of evaluating, looking back over the year and looking at their classmates and writing a bit, lots of photos. And it's a nice thing for them to take away because we get them printed and they take them away and they sign them. It's very American, I don't know, but
it does work quite well when they have a product at the end of it as well.
Yeah.
It helps sort of enforce that sense of achievement.
Yeah, definitely builds confidence. That's what we want to do, right? So a presentation to prospective students and local investigation.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
What, the local investigation?
Yeah, either. What
Well,
did...
who was it? Was that Hannah? You? No, it was Kathy. You done the presentation.
Kathy, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So it was a group. We got them to just, again, taking photographs. So they ran around the college, taking photographs, giving, if you like, a presentation on the college from the students' point of view. And it was really weird to see what they thought was important and what I would never have told students. So like where to get the cheapest, best food and what your badge was for. And again, I think one of the advantages of that was when they did it, they actually felt really proud because there was a real reason. Mm-hmm. And the final thing was that afterwards they could speak in English or in their first language if any students had questions. But we just really saw that the students actually then began speaking English to people in the community classes that, you know, that they just wanted to get to know. It was kind of a warming moment where you felt you'd achieved something.
Yeah, and I can't help but kind of link that with the working with others, is that doing that is helping other people find out, well, did you know that bus stop was there that takes you over here? And it's an excuse for people to talk about, perhaps like, oh, like you say, like, well, I didn't know that was important, but to them, okay, I'll feel a bit more grounded in the environment, for example. Super. Okay, let's move on to our next one. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? Okay, learners and tutors sometimes can't see where the language is in the activities. Yeah. Does anyone want to expand on this a little bit?
I kind of brought that up, that sometimes if learners think something's too much fun, they think it can't be good for them. You know, it's like medicine, it has to have some pain for it to be working. And also it has to be said that it was so nice to see you're so positive about what you were doing. That's really good, because I think there is a lot of language, but you have to make sure that the learners know, you know, this is what you're getting out of this. If you just do it, then people think, oh yeah, we've had a good time, but you know.
I do agree. I do agree. There was originally in one of the courses, I think we started off with 13, and there was various different reasons why some people had to like leave the course. But I think there was one in particular that said they didn't see it like that. They didn't see that they were working hard enough on language. Which is unfortunate, because so much came up in both of the courses I ran working with others. So, but I get maybe.
I think working on the real life project though, like actually creating a poster and an advertisement for the kilt walk, because that had a kind of real cause and effect, and then they were, you know, and it was quite challenging. That was the great thing for. You know, sort of driving them, because they had that purpose to it.
They needed to achieve it, and it was quite an important thing for them to put together. So okay, we've got see a different side of people, boosts people's confidence using skills other than English.
So just that you know, sometimes people they don't feel that confident in the classroom. And we see them as language learners, we see them as ESOL learners, but they are builders and craftsmen and tailors, and you know, and they have all these other skills that that if they're using them, that that brings out a confidence in them that then might carry into the ESOL classroom if you're
it's like the whole, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, right?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot more that people can give. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I am sorry, I'm going to go a bit faster through these. I've got sense of purpose and achievement, of course, and real life skills and using language in context. So I'm quite happy that the advantages are outweighing the disadvantages. That's good. That's what we want to see, really. Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to move on to the last one, which is, what new ideas do you have? Okay, so we've got photos and creative writing. So we've been feeling inspired by Jerry.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to read the Diego's that you showed, Jerry. I'd love to see that and read that through, because it looks like quite meaningful to him. So yeah. And collaboration / crossover with colleagues in other departments. Yeah.
Colleges have access to so many, talented colleagues in completely different subject areas and sort of Kathy and I were saying it might be good to make use of that if it's operationally possible, because it would give students maybe some idea of where they want to go next, or job opportunities, or it's just such a wide range of things. Hospitality is an obvious one, the cooking thing, but we've got photography departments, we've got construction, we've got welding, we've got plumbing, all of these things that to get little bite-sized experience of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sharing, sorry. Yeah, I don't know how often you get that when you, you speak to your students and they tell you what they really want from the future. Because with SQA, it's part of the paperwork, we need to get what's next. And I've definitely had students, that have said, well, I know I need to improve my English because I want to do IT, but they've got quite a ways to go before they get there. But why aren't we running a course to help them with that? So I think that sounds like a great idea, the crossover. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your contribution to that, for telling us about your ideas and saying that it's good. And also giving us some inspiration for what we could do next as well. I don't know, do we have time for questions?
You can always make time for questions if someone has something they want to ask.
If you have any, then you are welcome to ask them.
Well, if you're thinking of questions, just to say that on the last slide of the PowerPoint, it has our email addresses and contacts within our organisation, Glasgow ESOL Forum. Pauline, is it possible to share my too much? Is it possible for us to share the presentation?
Yeah, I can email that out to everyone if you'd like that. No problem at all. Yep, I can do that. Absolutely. And as I said before, the recording of this will be on our NATECLA Scotland YouTube channel, the link that I shared earlier. So feel free to go back and look if you need any other details, or just get in touch with myself and I can put you in touch with Jerry or Jacqueline if you want to ask further questions. Sheena.
I do have one. Sorry, right?
No, good.
It occurred to me when you were showing about the screen printing. That's presumably not a facility that you have just for Glasgow ESOL Forum. Is that somewhere that's open to booking for the public, or is it, how did that work?
Jerry, do you want to go with that?
So Lorna I think she was a friend of Joe's, wasn't she? So
I think she does children's classes as well.
Yeah. She's a sort of artist that she shares a studio in Partick with a couple of other artists, and I'm sure she would love to do similar things in the future. It was the space, we had about 12 learners, was it? 12? It
was around that, about 12.
Yeah. That was about the kind of, but the thing is, she didn't really, she kept it quite simple. So I think it could be done in another space. I'm sure she could come to the college and just do like an afternoon workshop. Because it was just like a small screen, and she did it all. She didn't need any kind of specialised equipment other than the ink and a small screen. And she did a wee bit of context about an artist that kind of inspired that design with the little men. So it had a context to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
but there
thanks.
are lots of other places as well in Glasgow.
Yeah.
That do that, like for example, Print Clan, and they've worked with reengage and other organisations to hold classes like that as well. So it's around. There's lots of options, I feel.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. Thanks for the idea, because that sounded really, and you get something away with you.
Always.
Brilliant.
I need to share any ideas like that, because I think at the college sometimes we get stuck down.
That's
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Lane.
Yeah.
And we
Credits.
think of we're not really sure where we're going when we go off that track, but it would be lovely to think of something, because I think for all the students it's really valid. I think it's nice for them to show their creative side. And as we've said before, even just finding out where they've got other talents, because you can't imagine what it must be like to know that you've left your own country and you are a valued member of a workforce, and suddenly you land in Scotland, and it's just, an uphill struggle really if you're not a linguist. So
absolutely.
So we found that sort of boosting some of their confidence kind of fed back into the ESOL lessons. They were coming back to the class and telling everyone about what they'd been doing, and it gave them more confidence to speak in a class, whereas some of them had been quite sort of nervous and worried about sort of making errors.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's value for yourself, isn't it? It's like how you see yourself really. And if other people can see that you've got some talent, then I think people react to you differently.
Yeah, it's what it brings. Like, I saw that one of your comments from a learner was it brought them back to life. Jerry, was that one of the students said that on one of the comments?
Yeah,
and I was thinking, wow. And you think, of course, because
but it was partly because we'd all been in hibernation with lockdown, and they'd all been so isolated,
Yeah.
On a very simple level, it's like occasionally if you do maths with them in English, and you suddenly see those who aren't particularly good at English absolute whizzes, and
Yes.
it's just, you just see them rising like this in the class, and then they get it's just about being accepted, isn't it? But feeling good about yourself, we all need that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Thank you so much for your input, everybody. Huge thanks to Jacqueline and Jerry for joining us tonight. I think everyone has gone away with at least one idea, if not more, of things that they could do with their learners. So a huge thanks for giving up your time and sharing your experiences with us. It's been fantastic. I hope to see some of you at another NATECLA Scotland event soon. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you again in the future. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. See ya.